everybody, welcome back to Social Media Success for Professionals. I have my buddy and my good friend and my digital marketing confidant, Doug Foley, in the house, back again. Doug, I am so thrilled that you're joining me for another episode on my podcast. Thank you so much.
Heather, it is my pleasure. Love being here.
Oh gosh, man, I turn to you so often because you're just the man with all the answers and a cool, calm demeanor when you do it, brother. And I appreciate you so much. But for the people that are first tuning into us, tell them a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Absolutely. Everybody, I'm Doug Foley. You can find me on all of the social channels at Douglas J. Foley. I am an author and a speaker and really passionate about helping entrepreneurs because I believe if there's a problem to be solved in this world, you're going to turn to entrepreneurs to do it.
Yeah, man, we are the rock stars. We are the ones out there trying to solve the world's problems, taking it on our shoulders. We don't mind. It's okay if we have sleepless nights. We're doing it for you, folks. We're doing it for you. That's 100%. Right. That's 100%. Right. So, entrepreneurs help out other entrepreneurs, and, we're in organic social media with Holloway Media Services, and people come to me all the time and ask about Facebook ads and advertising online and just advertising in general. How do we get more clients, patients, customers to walk through our doors? How do we get the phones to light up? How do I get people to email me? And, we're a little biased, Doug, because we do it all organically, baby. I've grown my business doing that. I've grown my business through referrals. And, we were just having a conversation on this. Like, the ultimate question is when people come to us and they say, how do I do social media ads, or what advertising channel should I invest in? What's your gut answer? What do you say?
Yeah, it's ironic because I run an agency and we do a lot of paid media, but we will tell people very often that paid media and advertising is one of the last things that you should do. And they can always look at us funny because that's what they came to us for, is like, wait a minute, I came to you to tell me, like, I want to run Facebook ads. You're telling me not to. And the main reason is advertising in general is a scaling mechanism. It is strictly designed to figure out, how do I put your message or your funnel in front of more people? And most people have ignored some of the principles that it takes to scale a business. And I'll always use kind of local businesses in the case of your podcast. Like, you take the local doctor, the dentist, the chiropractor. Those are things that, like, people are always going to ask their neighbors about. They're going to have this experience. You're going to say, hey, listen, I just moved to town. I'm looking for, a new dentist. Where should we go? And that's the mechanism they use to go find it. Most people inherently don't really want to go to the dentist. It's been painted as something. So before they go through that funnel, we need to figure out and understand, what is that customer journey? Like, what are the points closest to the transaction that matter, that can make a bigger difference? And for most small businesses, to run paid ads, to be honest with you, any business to run paid ads, they have to have a return. So anytime we engage with people, we try to figure out, how can we drive conversions and build a foundation of success? The first thing is, how can you get existing customers to come back and spend more? Without spending a single dollar in ads, if I can drive more customers back, I have more margin, more profit. I didn't have to pay an acquisition cost. Then I start to build this war chest of funds that I'm ready to advertise. And then I've also built a system. The second thing is, how do I build referrals? How do I make sure I have a really good reputation? So when someone comes in and needs my services and they Google me, which is the second thing they're going to do if they don't have a good neighbor, is, I need a dentist or chiropractor. How do I make sure that my presence and my reputation online is where it needs to be? And then the third thing is figuring out, okay, now how do I participate in the community? And I will tell you, like, community is probably one of the strongest things that most businesses lack. And I'll go back to probably one of the coolest stories for me growing up as a marketer was following Arnold Palmer. For those people that don't know, he's one of the most world-renowned golfers. He actually was like the OG influencer, so much so that he had a following called Arnie's Army. They attached their identity to this brand that they love so much. And then he turned around and built all these assets.
I mean, he even had a drink named after him too.
It's probably my favorite drink ever. It's like the most epic drink, and probably one of the best ESPN commercials.
Yeah.
But that principle of understanding, like, I need to build a really good reputation. I need to build an audience. Then you start to move into the space where, okay, I have this system that I know if I run ads and I have a new customer come in, I know that that one customer is going to refer 2 or 3 people, and they're going to keep coming back again and again. The reason ads fail is they don't have the system, or they don't look at the implication of when they get a customer, what is the lifetime value and how much additional business can they refer.
Yeah.
Same thing happens. Like if you ever think about car sales, if you bought a car recently, you go in, the first thing they do is what? They try to sell you a service package. Why? They want you to come back to the dealership. They want you to have a positive experience. So when it's time for your next car, they preconditioned, oh, they come in every 6,000 miles. Well, they're only going to do that 5 times. This time to replace the vehicle or buy another one or tell a friend. Like really good auto dealers with really good behavior to manage or to model, because they've mastered that. And that is the simplest version I can give you. But I can tell you, if you master the foundation, you can do so much so, like if you want to work with our team, it is referral only.
Yep.
So for most businesses, one of the next steps before you go to paid ads will tell you, increase your prices. Figure out that threshold. Because to run ads successfully and to scale a business, you need margin. Otherwise, it's just a slow depleting death cycle.
Right. And you're working harder, longer hours, trying to keep up with all the things. And yet there is untapped wealth with the audience that you already have, and the audience that you can create through showing up as a reputable source in your industry, in your market, in your local community. When you said, ads for scaling, if you think about this, a doctor can only see so many patients. A lawyer can only have so many cases. So when you turn on those ads, can you facilitate new business that comes through? If the ad lands, by the way, the ad had have for first land, but if it did land, if you found something that worked, like when you think about ads for scaling, I'm thinking about it in my case. We can only take on so many clients before I have to hire more people. So how do I make money with what I'm doing? So for me, ads would be selling a course. That's what would make sense for me, not necessarily new clients, but to like you said, have that course and then scale from there.
So this question, when it comes to professional services or people trying to build a personal brand, they'll have to get clarity on what the scaling mechanism is. So I'm going to answer your question 2 parts, if that's okay. Number 1, how do I fill my practice? And then number 2, what do I do when my practice is at capacity? Okay.
Yeah.
So one of the most powerful tools, and kind of goes back to the Arnold Palmer story, is they should be creating organic content and building an audience, regardless of the path, because that's going to open doors for them to move into other things. And I'll give you an example. I can't remember the gentleman's name, but he had built a pool company. I will give it to you after the show. But he was just putting out tips on like how to build, how things to do with your pool, how to clean it, just tons of information out there that you could use. He since then was able to pivot because he built such a following and built an audience that he could then pivot and start to do consulting on content marketing. He started to elevate. Mm-hmm. So from a professional practice, if you're creating value and building an audience, that'll create an organic channel that'll automatically start to fill your practice. And then it also will start to open doors for speaking engagements. If you want to write a book, if you want to do more consulting. So it'll expand beyond what you're originally doing and start to evolve into other opportunities.
Yeah.
From the practice perspective, it can start to open, like if you all of a sudden put these things, document them as SOPs, and then figure out, okay, we have this machine that can constantly get clients, then you can start to look at franchising, or you could look to acquire other practices similar to yours and just start to implement the systems. But to the point about ads being a scaling function, it starts to open up the doors where you can start increasing your margins, increasing your prices, and then understanding, hey, I know for every dollar in, I'm getting $5 out in return. Mm. And, you may bring on partners, you may bring other things into your practice that are margin drivers. But ultimately, if you understand, I know exactly what it costs to acquire a customer, I know exactly what they bring out, then you have the tools to figure out, okay, now I know the means to scale my business, to add in either other services. I want to do speaking. I want to travel. You know what? I'm going to hire somebody fresh out of school. I'm not even going to take these appointments. I'm now going to go do like retirement type activities, but in my 40s.
Yeah.
It's totally up to you. But I can tell you, building an audience has been the single biggest scaling factor for me. And I mean, it's got us to the point where we just do referral only. We have never run ads for agency. We never will. Because I think it should be used for things that you're trying to scale. We have other businesses we use ad all the time. E-commerce, for example, perfect use of that. If, running service-based ads, if you're a commodity, and this, switching gears a little bit, if your professional service is something where the behavior is, I'm going to go to Google because it's an immediate need, that's the one caveat where I would say context matters and the person's looking for that service. You should play where your customers are.
Yeah.
But outside of those, I think you need to use it as a scaling function.
Yeah. As an agency, our social media marketing agency, we're an organic social media marketing agency, and we did try ads. We tried ads to promote our podcast, and it helped. It brought a little bit of listenership in, but it did not bring, any new business in. It didn't bring any leads per se in that I know of. And our, Holloway Media Services reputation has been built on the content that we provide, the relationships that we build. And like you, Doug, we have grown through referral. I mean, since day one, I opened doors in 2017, and it happened because of happenstance, and it happened because of a relationship with another person that said, yep, I trust you. I'm going to put you in front of the person that needs your help. And that's how Holloway Media Services was born, man. And that's how we went from, with our first, I think I was into six figures by my third year. Just through, yeah.
Yep.
Just by being,
and that's pretty kind of, you're cool though. I can run you through the exact episodes we ask clients to figure out, should we be running ads? And it's just understanding the customer journey at the most simple value and try to figure out what is the biggest tipping point or the biggest conversion point that I find most of my companies. And for you, for example, like if I said your best customer, do you remember the conversation and there was one step before it that they said yes?
Oh man, I'd have to think back on all those conversations.
Right. But when you do that work and you start to think, what was the one thing, the step before they said yes?
Yeah.
Right. It's like, oh, I was introduced by so-and-so. Boom. Okay. Now where are more referral sources? And we were talking for you, it's partnerships.
Yep.
Right. For us, it was partnerships. 60% of our business came from relationships with PR agencies where we had to do an audit to figure out, like, why aren't they scaling? What's wrong with their ads? Now, I pretty much gave you the framework. It's the same thing, but quite often you can diagnose the problem taking one step back and trying to figure out what happened. The second thing you can figure out, okay, what was the one thing after the transaction? What was it in the customer experience that brought them back, that got them to refer people? If you just mastered those two critical moments in time, you can build an unbelievable foundation in your business.
Wow.
The challenge is most people want that immediate gratification. They see some ad or some webinar. It's like, hey, get this cold flow of leads. Right? So the second question is, like, let's say your ads are successful. Okay, let's say like you've got hundreds of people. Do you have the infrastructure to handle 50 new leads like a week?
You know what? I'm so glad you said that, because I was thinking to myself here, like people will say, oh, I only had 30 people look at this post, or oh, I only had, 5 reactions here. But that's 5 or 30 people, to your point, that are interested in your business, who could potentially pay for your lifestyle. Like you said, if you had 50 people come to you knocking on your door, we would break down. As an agency, we would break down, right?
Yeah. That's the point. You're like, yeah, it's probably create another product. Yeah. And but see, that's the part, like we've seen it. It started early in my career. When I first started my agency, everybody wanted SEO. Still a topic today. But like when I hear someone's like, oh, I need an SEO guy, I start drooling, because I'm like, okay, this person doesn't need SEO. They need more business. They just correlate SEO as the priming function to figuring it out.
Yeah.
And then now we have a really simple framework. I've been using it for 10 plus years. It's called tactics. And it's just an acronym. And you can't be a marketer if you don't have an acronym. It's just the way
Yep. Right.
marketers.
I have scope.
You're right. But we just break it down into, traffic. Where do your leads come from? When they get to you, what do you want them to do? And the number of businesses, especially professional practices, that could build a landing page instead of spending tens of thousands on a site
Oh man.
would just crush it. If you want the honest recipe to success, have a partner that can do unbelievable organic content, have a landing page that converts, and have a referral program to drive new business, you will scale faster than people running paid ads. I promise you.
That's your 3-step plan.
That's it. That's all you
That's
need. Like, tell your story really well, like create content that's helpful, and that's your primary traffic driver. Then drive them to something that converts. That's the action, the commitment. This is a piece I think most people miss, like, is the C in the tactics equation. They want to jump to transaction, but you need a micro commitment. Like, if you can introduce something and build an email list or get them to follow you on social, like that micro commitment that they lean in saying, hey, I trust your brand enough. I want to learn more, but I'm not ready to buy. Understanding how to go from commitment to transaction, that subtlety is huge. And the T is an interesting one when I say transaction, because it can either be time or money.
Mm-hmm.
Right? There's a lot of times where customers, if they like, especially professional practices like dentists, chiropractors, like even gyms, you'll see this a lot, like the free trial.
Yep.
Like, listen, we believe so much that we can get a result for you. Your first treatment's on us. Like, come in for free teeth whitening. They might be like, oh my God, I'm giving away money. Yeah, but that same money you're spending on the free treatment is what you would have spent in ads, if not a fraction of that.
Right. And to have perspective on that, understand how much that one person that comes in for that one-time treatment, right? How much are they worth? The customer value, the lifetime customer value. And then that helps you to offset that cost of like giving away that free teeth whitening.
Yeah, I don't need ad, right? Yeah. I can find partners. I can find free media things. I can create referral programs. Yeah. Like, if there's a small town, be like, hey, the chiropractor, he offers free teeth whitening. The dentist offers free chiropractic. Like, you can find partners without having to spend money on ads, because that's a person who cares about their general health and well-being. You guys have an alignment to help this person be and become the best version of themselves. Cool. That alignment, you guys share the value. Don't worry about splitting the revenue. And to be honest with you, there's so much unused health savings amount accounts. Like, do the free teeth whitening, and then there's so many other things you can put in practice, like upsells, like, hey, thanks for registering. While you're here, do you want this other treatment? We'll do it 50% off.
That's right.
That's where marketing comes in.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you have them. You have them. Like you said earlier, you already said it in the show. It's the cost of acquiring a new customer outweighs the cost of diving deeper on your current customer, right? I mean, it's just so expensive to get somebody new in, but once you have them, silver lining is once you have them, you go deep. Don't make it surface level. It's not just a one-time deal. Like, so, right now we have a content calendar for professionals. That's our lead magnet. That's what I'm throwing out there in order to gain an opportunity to talk to a prospect. So you can go out there, you can get our free content calendar. And then after that, we're going to start to build a relationship. I'm going to continue to talk to you. I'm not going to stop. I'm going to continue to talk to you. Try not to be a pest. And that's the deal. That's the deal online these days. So Doug, man, you gave us a master class in how to use the offline and online marketing to grow our business. You gave us tactical things to do. You gave us a 3-point system that we can run. You told us the point before the sale and the point right after the sale. If we hang in there, there is gold to be made. Is there any other thing that you want to impart on our audience today?
Just be patient. Like, scaling a business, every entrepreneur, like it is a hard battle. But if you just focus on where you can take your zone of genius and apply the most value in your business, you will find a way to scale no matter what. And it's just treat that whole path of mastery as a journey to figuring and mastering that thing out. And I promise you, you'll have more wealth and happiness than you could ever thought possible.
My man. And listen, I've been working with Doug for the last, gonna be 3 years now, my friend. He has given me nothing but solid guidance and advice. And Doug, I just appreciate you sharing it with my audience as well. So Douglas J. Foley, anywhere on the interwebs, my friends, please pick up his book. I have it right behind me. Hold on. Breakout Blueprint right here. Best time author, best times, New York best time sellers, right? Or you got on the list
Not
or
yet.
something? Not yet. Not yet. I'm putting it out there. I'm manifesting it.
You.
New York Times bestseller.
Thank
But
you.
he is an acclaimed author, and I really appreciate Breakout Blueprint. Doug, you're the best. Thank you so much, friend.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
I'm Heather Holloway, and you've been listening to Social Media Success for Professionals. Thank you so much for being here. It means the world to me and my team. Hey, remember, check the show notes for resources and links to other episodes, and don't forget to hit that subscribe and follow button to be notified when new episodes are released.